quarterfinals. Hello and welcome. It is the first of a potential 5 matches between Rich Shea and Luis Scott Vargas. They brought 3 different decks, and this does not look like it worked out great for Luis Scott Vargas. It looks like he's on Storm, but Rich Shea put a Mishra's Workshop deck in the A spot and randomly won the die roll for game 1. They were tied in the standings, so if one of them had actually been the higher seed, they would have gotten to choose play draw. Magic Online chose Rich Shea. Wow. Mox Workshop Golem, and now Luis has a hand that would have been spectacular, either on the play or against a non-Shops deck.
Well, he still gets turn 1 Necro thanks to that second Dark Ritual. They're not the most exciting Dark Rituals in the world, but it's something.
Sure, yeah, I mean, you do what you gotta do. He's gonna get clocked for 5 by that Lodestone Golem, but maybe he can stitch a hand together here. I mean, what do? Do you just go down to 6 or 7 and cross your fingers?
No. I think you take a reasonable amount here and assume you're taking 10. If you end up taking more than that, if they have a follow-up creature, well, you might just be dead. But, you really need to find probably a Chain of Vapor, potentially a Hercules Recall. Those would be really, really excellent finds. Not sure exactly what Luis is running in his list, but I think if he goes down to 6, well, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I guess if there's another lock piece, it does mean the game is over because he won't be able to actually cast Hercules Recall.
Okay, well, he's played it. He's played it to have 2 draws off the Necro.
Well, Luis has Scrubland and Tundra in his hand, so this is not.
Wow.
I guess it says in the deck name Esper Storm, but it is We're used to Grixis Storm, I guess, and so this is definitely a little different. Although it looks like Luis is going to lose this game. If Rich would have to brick twice, although even just the Mishra's Factory is going to be enough to win the game. So Luis is going to have to basically find a way out of this off the Ponder.
Well, he could Necro into a Hercules, in theory.
Could Necro into Hercules. Assuming Rich finds nothing, but he can't take the 7-point hit, and the Lodestone just comes back down.
Not the best set of Necropotence cards.
Wow.
Oh, geez, Metamorph.
As we are long used to this season of VSL, Rich Shea finds what he needs. This is a pretty perfect turn of, well, he can kill the land if he wants, he can gets to play Lodestone as well, so.
I mean, Luis surely has a basic? No? No basics? Ugh.
I'm not sure if Luis would have been able to win this game if he was on the play. He would have had the turn 1 Necro and not had to blow the Dark Ritual, but he didn't actually find that much off of it. It certainly would have been interesting. I think Rich would have been favored. But
all right, I want to see this list. What is Luis up to? There's the big reveal. He has Mentors in the sideboard. That's what's going on. Mentors and Serenities and Basic Planes? Just a 12-card shot. Your everyday ordinary 12-card anti-shop sideboard plan. That is a complete transformation.
If you're playing against Rich Shea, you should be prepared to play against Workshops at this point, which is pretty funny to say considering about a year ago it was a deck that you would never consider Rich to play. Now it's a deck that it wouldn't surprise me if he just brought like multiple versions of Workshop into VSL playoff rounds. Definitely a high affinity to Workshops and Oath right now, and Mentor as well. So some combination of those 3 decks I would expect to see, and it wouldn't really surprise me if he doubled up on something.
What are the blue cards above the Serenities in Luis's second column there? I saw he brought in, it looked like 3 Serenities.
Energy? No, Hercules Recalls.
They were Hercules? Okay.
I didn't see them, but I can pretty much guarantee that they're Hercules Recalls in the Storm sideboard. It's a Storm sideboard.
Lodestone Golem Mishra's Workshop in hand for Rich Shea once again. I guess he doesn't have a 4th mana. It's not a turn 1 Lodestone. So he mulligans. Wow.
Luis's hand doesn't do much either. He's got a Brainstorm, but not a lot of action. No Hercules Recall. He's got lots of lands, which can be great.
So Luis kept kept a bunch of mana, 6 mana cards, including 4 lands. Rich, however, Wish's Workshop off the top.
And in a shocking twist, Ricochet finds the perfect card.
Unbelievable.
So from potentially turn 4 Lodestone Golem to turn 1 Lodestone Golem, Luis.
Yeah, he would have played turn 1 Golem probably, but then he would have been stuck on 1 mana. Luis brainstorms into Rituals, has to redraw one of his lands because obviously he didn't have a fetch land in play yet.
Yeah, he's got absolutely nothing in hand, which means that this game should end pretty quickly. Lodestone Golem tends to do that, and Luis is not even close to assembling anything. He needs to find a Hercules Recall probably, and
Serenity would do just fine.
Serenity would do just fine, yeah. Rich does have Phyrexian Revoker to turn off Petal. He has a Wasteland to kill one of the lands, and so Serenity is actually multiple turns away from being cast potentially. He could also just play No Rod.
He could go Dark Ritual Serenity if he top decks.
He could also metamorph out another Lodestone Golem. I mean, he can basically make it so Serenity can never be cast. The Workshop was the perfect job.
All right, I'm fine. I'm trying. He can't even go Ritual into Serenity now. This Shops deck is so powerful. Oh, wow. And there you go. Ricochet takes the quick 1-0 lead in this best 3 out of 5 matchup. So it is best 3 out of 5. Rich and Luis submitted 3 different deck lists each. If they wanted to, they could. Rich could have submitted Shops. I doubt he did that because when they get to match 4 and match 5, they have the ability to choose any of their 3 decks. So that was a super quick match 1. Obviously, Shops versus Storm, that is not the matchup Luis was hoping for, and Rich's draws were absurd. So
yeah, it's tough. If you're going to play Storm against Ricochet, well, I mean, his die roll winning percentage in 4 seasons is in the 80s, so it's going to be tough. That is a great reason to be playing Workshops. Yeah, Rich keeps his die roll percentage as high as can be, has the turn 1 Lodestone, draws the perfect card in game 2, Luis bricks on Brainstorm. Again, not sure that either of those games would have necessarily gone too much differently, although it's possible Rich's hand ends up doing nothing in game 2 if he doesn't find one.
Yeah.
If he uses Wasteland, Luis just had 4 lands, so plenty of time.
Sorry to cut you off, but I do want to let David Ochoa get into the booth with you. You can cast the next game with your eventual tiebreak opponent. I'll come back after that, let you guys get ready for your tiebreaker. But for now, we're going to take a real quick break, swap the casters out, and we'll be back. We'll be back shortly with match number 2.
With Hookah Trade, the world is your trade binder.